I'm going to record on this computer, so anybody that can't make it to the call tonight, we can send this recording out. Welcome to the AmpCoil community call. I'm going to set an intention that as much as we want to get into our thinking brain, our analytical brain on this call, I want us to try to always, as much as we can, think about that throttle that moves us between the heart and the brain, the heart and the left brain. So we're going to go back and forth. We're going to play with that skill tonight. We'll open with a little bit of a quote. And I think this is a really neat quote. I'm always looking at the science. I'm looking at the doctors who are using this, right? Because I know us as energy people, we love AmpCoil, we love PEMF, we love frequency. But it's really neat when we get a biophysicist, when we get a chemist that's also dabbling in this world. So I've got a great quote here. And when people can kind of explain how energy works, which Lori touched on a little bit, it's like the river, it never stops. It's not static. You don't have it, it flows. This is a great quote. She queued it up because we're on the same page. So according to physics and chemistry that we all studied in high school and as humans are electromagnetic beings that appear as solid. The body is made of atoms and molecules. Molecules are made of atoms that can be particles and waves at the same time. And there's more space between particles than there are particles. On a quantum level, we are more space than we are matter. All matter is held together with chemical bonds, and every bond resonates at a specific frequency. That is physics. Every cell membrane receptor has bonds that will only resonate with a specific signal. That's biophysics. Now, if this sounds woo-woo to you, the signal from a key fob can unlock your car door in a parking lot in the mall with 300 other cars just as well as the physical key, but faster. The radio in your car only picks up the station 103.1 when that's tuned to that frequency to broadcast music through your stereo system. And my cell phone is only going to ring when you dial my specific number, when the resonance in my phone can find that specific signal. And this is a rational model how medicine based on resonance could actually work. That's from Dr. Carol McCakin. And I thought that was such a great quote. And it's just, you know, there's so much overlap. We have so many people talking about this in the news. You know, we talked about the story last time of the team in Israel that has the resonance test, like a little bitty kazoo that's 90% accurate for picking up the resonant frequency, the vibration of COVID. So people are out there, they're doing this. In the format of the community call, way back in the day, we talk about this. What was a community call? The community call was a chance for owners to get on and ask questions and talk about wins. But in the past, it used to be like, to ask your question, you share to win. So we're going to front load the call with a couple wins. I have a super awesome human being that has totally wowed me. And we have Jennifer Podemski on the call. Jennifer, do you want to unmute yourself or do you want me to do that?
Oh,
we did it.
am I unmuted?
You're unmuted, Jennifer.
There we go. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Meet AmpCoil community call. Jennifer is I'm gonna give you a little golden fairy dust before you speak. So Jennifer is an AmpCoil owner, and she has an awesome recovery story. And she is also a documentary filmmaker, creating films that show the stories of Indigenous people, identifies new conversations that we want to be having that are really inspiring. And Jennifer has also won the Canadian equivalent. She just won an Emmy Award. Tell me the equivalent. Tell me the name.
It's called the Canadian Screen Award.
The Canadian Screen Award. She's a producer,
Really?
a director.
Yeah,
she's a writer. But Jennifer, I wanted you to share. I think it's so cool as an artist. Like, you're on the other side of chronic illness, and now you're kind of like able to sink your teeth in to reap some of the words of like really enjoying it a little bit. I wondered if you couldn't take like a minute or two and kind of share your Superwoman Lyme story.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me to speak. Hello, everyone. This is actually my first time on a community call, which is incredible because I guess I just always felt like I wasn't ready to even talk about all of this. I don't know if that's normal, but my Lyme journey began about 7 years ago, and it really put everything on hold for me. At the time when my career was kind of, I was being invited all over the world to film festivals, and the best things were happening for me, and I couldn't get out of bed. And I'm sure you all know what that's like. I felt like I was dying, and I was just kind of trapped in this body. So that was my sort of beginning into this journey, and I really thought that my career was over. And so winning this award last week or the other couple weeks ago was really a testament to not just my survival, but also the miracle that is the AmpCoil, because I feel like after spending I don't know, maybe $200,000 Canadian um, $200,000 over 6 years trying to get better, and just nothing really working. Finding the amp coil was really the thing that it just unlocked the healing. It really unlocked the healing. And I remember that first day that I used it, and when I did the voice record testing, it came back with parasites, and all my doctors were telling me, no, you don't have parasites. And I'm telling you, this machine is telling me that I have parasites. So they dug and dug and dug and sent tests and after tests, and finally something came back after years of telling me that I didn't. And that was really what unlocked the whole healing process for me. And then I started working again, and walking, and I I really owe like the award and just the fact that I have my career back to all of the things that led up to me finding the amp coil. So for me, it's a real, I know it's an everyday journey that I'm not at the end of, but it's a real success story as I am able to tell it at this moment.
Jennifer, thank you for sharing. We really appreciate it. I think it's inspiring for everybody to hear, and you're a total superwoman. Jennifer did this with 2 babies. She had a production company. She directs, she writes. And a month and a half ago, we have another user an hour away from Jennifer who is wheelchair bound from MS. Jennifer went to this stranger's woman's home, um, packed up her old amp coil, unboxed her new one, and helped set it up for her, and then has visited her since again. So your heart is full of kindness and love, and we're so glad you're part of our community, and we're honored that you're an amp coil person. We love you. Thank you, Jennifer. All right. So we can do jazz hands. Who did that? Martha, we could do jazz hands. Yep, we could do that. So then we have another. I have Mary Hoerman. Mary, are you on? Can you unmute yourself? Let me see, and hopefully Mary has power, because Mary was in my neck of the woods. Mary, is that you? There's a Mary. You're not speaking.
No,
Okay.
it's not the one you're looking for.
Nope. Different Mary. Okay, well, if Mary Hoerman comes on, we'll unmute her at some point. We got, oh, what about this Mary down here? Here's another one. Mary?
I'm the same one.
Oh, you're the same Mary. Oh, it's like Find the Mary. This is like some type of 80s like Candyland game here. So actually we're gonna go, we'll come back to the Marys and the story of the Marys. We'll actually go to Dr. Court. I'm gonna unmute Dr. Court. Or you're gonna unmute yourself, Dr. Court. Lower left hand.
Gotcha.
Wonderful.
Right. And I'm not Mary.
You're not Mary. Dr. Court, how you doing tonight?
I am spectacular. Happy to be here.
Good. So, top of our community call, Dr. Court, we're just, we're sharing wins. I know you've had some really, really awesome stuff happening at your clinic that is not around Lyme, but you have another specialty, and this is something that you've been incorporating multiple modalities in and finding really, 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 really great success. So, do you want to share for a couple minutes?
Sure. Thank you, everybody, for being on the call, and thank you, Freddie, for inviting me on the call. It's funny. I called Freddie today, and he goes, "I was just thinking about you yesterday, and I sent you somebody," and I'm like, "Well, that's why you came to my mind." And Freddie and I are kindred spirits, so we both share the same hairstyle, and much more about that later. But I'm a chiropractor and a board eligible functional neurologist. I've been studying neurology for the last decade. And about 5 years ago, I had the opportunity to read a book called Radiation Nation, actually the manuscript of Radiation Nation before it went to publishing. Myself and my partner, Jet, who's here with me. Jet, do you want to say hello?
Hello.
What's it? There she is. Hello. So Jet is a master's degree in biochemistry, and we've known each other for over 30 years. So after reading this manuscript called Radiation Nation, which I recommend everybody get on this call, they can either get a hold of us, Freddie, and you can give out the clinic number on that, or I can give that out at the end of my talk. And this book gives us an understanding about what's going on in our EMF world and in this ever-changing electric world that we live in. So it's a great template for understanding what's happening for us. And after reading this manuscript, I realized that I've actually been hypersensitive to my electronic environment for the last 20 years. And that was a real eye-opener for me. And so I've dedicated my life to figuring out how to mitigate the symptoms associated with EMF. That's it in a nutshell. We have a great case study to share with you. If I could have a couple of minutes, Freddie, to do that, would that be possible? Okay. So this case study is on a guy named Ryan. We are just getting ready to publish it. It's 12 months long. And Ryan was an electrician since 2005 at Intel. And being an electrician at Intel is not like being an electrician anywhere else in the world. They never shut down. And so he worked on a floor that had not 280 panels, but 480 panels, and there was 250 of them. So his exposure to electricity was quite high. After several years there, he became impaired and was not able to get out of his vehicle and spent 9 months in bed. He had enough time to recoup, and he went back to work for a month, and he spent 5 months in bed. And he recouped, and he went back to work, and he became impaired again. When he came to my office, what was the date on that?
June.
In June of last year, he was in a wheelchair. And he's a 40-year-old man in a wheelchair. And we wheeled him up to my office, and we do a lot of different diagnostics, like Freddie said. We did EEG on him, heart rate variability, balance assessments, vision assessments, sleep assessment, many, many different kinds of assessments. And he was a functional 65-year-old man with dementia. In 2 days, I had him pushing my team, had him pushing the wheelchair down to the car, and he never used it again. Within a week, within 5 days, his 65-year-old dementia brain had changed to a 34-year-old, not so demented brain. At the end of a month, we had him at a 24-year-old functional brain. So a 40-year-old man with a 24-year-old functional brain. At the end of 6 months, he had an 18-year-old brain. And then COVID hit. And he was forced to be at home with 3 laptops and a router, which took him back to a 24-year-old brain where he resides today. And on our latest testing in June, that's what he had, was a functional EEG 24-year-old brain. what's exciting about this is that this shows resilience. And even in the environment of being amongst Wi-Fi and so forth, it showed resilience. Now, we didn't just do this just through chiropractic. We had many different modalities that we used, but AmpCoil was a primary modality that we used. And we did voice analysis on them, and then we also played different frequencies. Jet, do you want to help me out with some of these?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. This is Jet. Ryan's actual voice analysis showed electrosmog and electrosensitivity and chemical sensitivity often. And it didn't matter what time of the day that he came in. So I started tracking what time he came in because it's really important, just like Lori said. But it was a data point for me. And we use that primarily for nutrition support and for organ and stress reduction for Ryan, because he had a lot of PTSD from being functionally impaired as a young man. But what we're doing now is that we're really focusing on his biotoxins and the pathogens now that he's very stable and resilient neurologically. And we've just talked with Freddie about a specific plan. And really, we want to learn AmpCoil to be more, not just as a stress reduction, not that it's amazing and it helps our patients so much, but we want to really work on personalized care. And obviously, Dr. Court's very, very good at the neurological aspect, but we are here to learn. We want to learn. We want to be better. And thank you, Freddie. We want that personalization, and we're hungry to be better. So thank you, everybody.
Always.
Thank you.
So
well, we celebrate you guys for the work you're doing. I mean, just jazz hands like across the board. I mean, that's amazing. From wheelchair to really, obviously you turned back the clock for him and you changed his life.
Well, it's interesting because we work with a company called Wabi for our EEG. And when we showed them our findings, they really summed it up quite amazing to me. And they said, you've unlocked a healing cycle and you've found a cure for dementia. And that was a big deal because we've done that numerous times, but it's not just one modality that does that. It's the whole stacking of those modalities. So I wanted to leave my clinic number, if anybody wanted to get the information on the book that I had suggested. And then I have one more thing I wanted to tell you.
Please.
So the phone number for those of you who are taking notes is 503-625-5678. And did you want me to give them your email? No. Okay. So that's the best way to get a hold of us. We're running on kind of a limited schedule. So if you don't hear from us right away, we will respond to you because we are right on the midst of signing on a 47-acre property in the mountains that is a Wi-Fi free facility that will allow us to be a teaching facility, a conference facility, education and research facility, as well as a facility where people can come and get treatment for EMF hypersensitivity, where they would spend a week with us. And there's nothing like it in the world. We're really excited about it because it's very prescriptive, best in world, and more to come about that. But we will absolutely have AmpCoils for sale up at the river. And we're excited about, the ability to teach others what we're doing and how to live in this crazy environment that we're living in. So with that, all I got to say, thanks, Freddie, for the opportunity. Be well.
Namaste. Be well. All right. We'll do one more jazz hands. Awesome. That's a thing now. So let me just see if Mary's on. Mary Horman, are you on? I just see that one, Mary. Okay, so I'm going to open it up to just if anybody wants to do the little raise hand button, if anybody wants to share a win before we go over kind of our software update and before we go over a little AmpCoil Academy, before we go over some video trainings, I want to open it up. Anybody who feels inspired, and if you feel like taking the floor, it's yours. You can do *6 to unmute yourself. Yeah.
Hey, Freddie.
Hi, Angela.
It's Angie. This has been a long time coming. I've been meaning to write a post for like weeks, and Appropriately, after that last segment, I tend to avoid screen time whenever possible, so I just haven't written it. But I had talked a couple months ago about how much progress I made when the new COVID, the Wellness 2020 original program had come out, and I really was shifting. I could just tell, like, everything's changing right now. And so I'm like gonna get emotional because I went back to work 2.5 months ago after 4 years. It's like such a big deal. It's just such a big deal. I know. So I have so much more to report, but like I feel like, that's enough already. This is it's totally changing my life. And I went through such a long period where I just didn't know if it was going to happen. I worked so hard the last 4 years, but yeah, so I'm so grateful to the community and the company and Aaron in Geneva and, the whole team. But yeah, it's a big win. Yeah, I'll pull it together now. Thanks.
Amazing. Yep, we're so proud of you. Angie, thank you for sharing that. Yeah. I know, and I know you were, I know like 6 months ago, you were like, you're like, I'm waiting. When's it going to happen? When am I going to feel my shift? And it was really, I think for you, it was like, from listening to your reports, that it was kind of more falling into the regimented, you had the path to follow through that was really clear with the COVID. And then since then, it seems like you've kind of followed that and stayed on a little bit of a schedule.
Yeah, I've been absolutely religious every other day coiling. And I posted up a couple days ago in response to somebody else that I just followed a hunch. I had actually, after listening to one of your podcasts a little while back, I bought the DNRS program, and I'll admit, I went through all the material. I did it for a little bit. I haven't like diligently done the, hour a day and everything, but it really got my wheels spinning about the limbic system and the fight, just like how much of a root cause that can be. So I started coiling Relaxol every other day. And then I also have been working my way through general detox finally, because my body handles it now. I think it's just me right now, like that, I think my intuition was just like spot on. And so that's been pushing me forward. And there's a few other things, like I do EMDR therapy, and there's other things that I know have been massively impactful, but I've already been doing those other things for a really long time. And I just know that when I started being really diligent about the coil, it happened. It came together. So it's amazing. It's
Angie, you get jazz hands.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I'll say this, like beyond beautiful share, and we are always telling people, it's like, tap into your body. Your body knows. Your body knows what to coil. Your body knows what to run. It's not about you are an individual. It's like we have guidelines, and that's not the magic. The magic is consistency. The magic is showing up. And it's funny, I was talking to a biologist who is a professor, and she really works with very, very, very specific, she looks at the Borrelia under the electron microscope, yada, yada, yada. She had a daughter who was bedridden for a majority of her life. And she kept going back to, we got her to 99%, but she says across the board, you have to break the habit of being yourself. Break the habit that you are sick, or that, because I believe this, after years, pain feels normal. Depression feels normal. Like, to avoid events, and just feels normal. So it's really breaking that habit. I see that to be true. That's why I like those programs, and it's literally talk therapy in the mirror. I'm okay. I am full of love. I'm a vibrant human being. I deserve love. I deserve success. When we see that, when we put that out in the field, it comes back pretty consistently.
Yeah, and along the lines of what Lori said earlier, I really did, because I'm a registered nurse. I have a medical, I've got a strong medical education aside from that as well. And so it's hard when you've been wired that way for so long to step away. But I really did massively step away from like the medical lens of everything. And even though I understand that stuff and I factor it in, I really changed my focus to I just want to calm things down, like state of mind, like it. I don't really know. I guess I don't know if it's mindfulness or what. I'm kind of at a loss for words, but I got out of the whole like diagnostic labeling and just like the biochemistry of everything, and like so in the weeds you can get, and just like overwhelmed with all the conflicting information. And I just completely shifted my focus to I don't know, like that intuition and just being with myself, and more like the state of like feeling instead of the state of like what's going on at the cellular level. And it's huge. I mean, it just made
Huge.
all the difference.
It's awesome. More to come. Can't wait for the next one.
Yeah.
Thank you, Angie. I love it. All right. So is there anybody else? I want.
That.
Wait, say that again.
Sorry,
You
I
go.
just said I see some chat and I'm like on my mobile phone. So if anybody wants to connect, just like message me on Facebook or, email, whatever, like I'm always happy to talk to anybody about any of this stuff. We're a tribe. So
we're a tribe.
them pop in and I'm like, I'm not going to be good about responding this. So.
Angela Ballard on Facebook. I'll put your name in the chat.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Angela. Okay, does anybody else want to speak before we move on to a little software talk, little AmpCoil Academy? You can do *6.
Yeah. Hi there. I just signed on, and I'm not actually on the Zoom part. I'm just calling in, and so I don't know if this is the appropriate time to ask a question like this, so just let me know if it's not. And this is actually my first call, and I'm a brand new user and owner of an AmpCoil.
Who are we speaking with?
My name is Suzanne.
Hi, Suzanne. Where are we reaching you in the country?
Virginia.
In Virginia. Yeah, so yeah. I will say user specific on information on what to do as far as like a specific journey that it would be best fielded by support. But if you have a question that you want to ask this community of users, we have 42 AmpCoil owners on here, then you can pose that question to our community.
Okay. Well, and the reason I'm calling, and I was on the call a little bit earlier and I had to sign off because we just started using the AmpCoil and my son is herxing really badly, and it's really kind of an emergency, and I don't even have a clue what to do. I tried to call support and I wasn't available because I was tending to him when they called me back. And so I guess my question is, when someone has an emergency, what do they do, especially a new user?
Yeah, I think Lori, you're on, right, and unmuted, 530.
I am on.
There,
Can you hear
Lori,
me?
Yes, there you go.
Okay. Hi, Suzanne. I did call you.
I know you did.
So the first thing is just stop coiling.
Yeah.
You can run Detox Assist. And
we did. Yeah, we did the Detox Assist, and it actually seems to have made it worse.
Okay. Is he? We can. I don't know if I can talk after this, but I can give you a call when we finish here if you want.
That would be great. It's just really bad. I mean, he's been like screaming, and I've never seen him in this much pain. So and I've been following the protocol. So I guess I first and foremost just wanted to find out what I can do to help him tonight, and then how to proceed later. So yeah, I don't know what the best way is to give you my information. I'd prefer not to do it like on a public call.
No, I have all your information.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you so
I have
much.
all your information.
I
So-
appreciate
Connect
it.
you guys, Suzanne. Lori to the rescue.
Thank you.
You got it. You got it. All right, team. I'm just gonna move on to one little topic here, and then we'll open it up to the floor again. So we will definitely have time for additional questions. So one thing that we get a lot of questions about, and there's always this bridge between understanding on what to do, what to run, in what order, how do I pack it up, how do I connect the cords, how do I work a cleanse album, should I move through general detox, and how do I do that? So one thing that we've launched in the last 30 days is AmpCoil Academy. And I'm going to go ahead and do a little screen share here while we have this opportunity. And as I scroll through these screens, here we go. Let me share screen. And wonderful. So we should be here now. Awesome. So I'm going to go through and just go through a couple slides. I just want to show you exactly kind of what we're looking for here. Come on, buddy. Let's do this. No, don't print. There we go. Ta-dum. Wonderful. So if we go to ampcoil.com, and we're going to see right in the top of the bar, it says Owner's Help Center. You can click on Owner's Help Center. As an AmpCoil owner, you're going to see this field come up. You're going to see enter your email address, and you're going to see password, and you're going to hit login. That is going to bring you to a section that's going to say Knowledge Base. Right under Knowledge Base, you're going to see the button that says AmpCoil Academy. AmpCoil Academy is, the AmpCoil system is sophisticated, and it works with the energy systems. And so to empower everybody as a user, for the optimal coiling experience, we've developed this academy. And the academy covers all aspects of the technical components, the software, customization, device care, and these very easy to follow tutorials. So this is just one through, there's 8 videos. Getting started, pathways, so important, so underutilized, navigation, discover, where your journeys and all your features are, general detox, voice print. Then we have the cleanse album, which I hope every single person on this call watches. And then we have device care, anytime you're going to use, ship your device, or maintenance. So if we were to click on part 1, you're going to be brought up to video number 1. Play this video 2.5 to 5 minutes. They're very, very short. And after we watch the video, we're going to select Take the Quiz. The quiz is going to be 5 to 6 short questions. And what happens when you take the quiz is your answers are going to be stored in your profile on AmpCoil, so all our members of support can see where you're at as far as your training. That's going to be very helpful for us working with you. You'll see this page pop up. You can view your score. You can edit your answers. Keep going and retaking till you get 100%, and then you can move on to the next video. So we've got getting started, pathways, navigation, discover, general detox, voice print, cleanse, and device care. These are just some of the screenshots of the videos here. And that is our AmpCoil Academy. I would love it. It would make my heart so happy if everybody on this call in the next 7 days can get through this AmpCoil Academy, and you can go through your tests, and you can really get to the pro level. That's my wish. I believe in it. I believe in the training. I believe in my heart of hearts that when you know how to use something, be it a sauna, the AmpCoil, a foot bath, nutrition, structured water, you're going to be better set up for success. Period. So those tools are there. Yes, I'm just scrolling through here to see these questions. So we'll move on. The other thing that I just want to mention is, and I don't have a slide deck. I like to make slides for everything. I had a long drive today. We are super proud to support the community. One thing that's happening right now across the world is financial stress. It's a thing. It's a thing. And one thing we never talk about on this call is we have a pay it forward program, the PIF program. And basically it's a reward program to inspire any customer to refer somebody else that you think AmpCoil is going to help. So the best way to grow AmpCoil community, the best way to share with your friends is to let people try your technology, get on a Zoom call and talk about it. You know, we can't always be within the physical space of everybody right now, but the other thing that we have to share the information, we have an awesome webinar that we do. We go through the science, we go through the technology, we go through the background of what it takes to put AmpCoil together. We go through all these testimonials, and then we go through some more education. We have a discovery webinar hosted every single week. I know either Jackie or Jessa, maybe they can post the link to the discovery webinar. That's another way to let people learn about this. But back to my whole statement, the pay it forward. If you recommend the AmpCoil to somebody as an owner, the first time you do that, you get $1,000 to do with whatever you want. You can spend it on Chipotle, you can spend it on Whole Foods, you can gift it to a family who does not have the money to buy an AmpCoil, and that can be done through the Wellness for Humanity Foundation. That's something you could message Jessa about. But it's really amazing. We did have a lot of people. It's really inspiring people gift that forward. The last year, AmpCoil paid out $32,000 in pay it forward to other human beings that recommend the AmpCoil. So I just think it's something worth mentioning in this time when it's something everybody is a little something everybody's a little stressed about. So I'll leave that. If anybody has questions about the PIF program, the Pay It Forward program, this is totally different than an ambassador who lets people demo the AmpCoil system or who markets the AmpCoil system, but it's just your first time referral. So really, really cool. Something we don't always mention. I want to move on to software. I want to move on to the update that we just did for the Better Guide. I don't think Lori's on a video, but this is another jazz hand moment. We finally have everybody on version 7 of the Better Guide software, which was a long time coming. Our beautiful developers, our software team, our AmpCoil team, all the people at support, our people who have worked on this from the nighttime, from 8 at night till 4 in the morning for a long time. I'm not going to say it, not going to speak the word, but it's a long time. We're finally all in version 7. Every single AmpCoil user has access to the software. We have the most brilliant testimonials we've ever had. We have so many success stories coming in after people have downloaded and gotten on this version 7. And now's the time. So we'll talk about it a little bit. With version 7, we've just released a new journey. I'll just read the list, and then I want to let Lori talk a little bit about the Wellness 2020. So on this new software update, the really cool things are, my favorite thing, we have an expanded view button on the General Detox album. If you've ever run a journey in General Detox and it sits steps 1 through 30, and they're labeled filters, filters 2, housing, brain, jackets, and you're wondering what those steps are doing, we now have an expanded view button in General Detox, which makes it easier for you to reference the areas of the body that's working on. So whether it's tendons and bones and ligaments and bones, I know, it's amazing. It's so easy breezy, and it's great for sharing too. My God, these jazz hands are killing me up here, Martha. That's amazing. Giving me life. we have, so here's the other thing that I want to go over really quickly is our TAP, our instructions for optimal audio output. A lot of people don't realize this. With high-end audio equipment, with a custom design amplifier, order matters when you connect materials. So when we're talking about the TAP acronym, tablet, amplifier, power, that's going to be an automatic pop-up on your software. If you don't do it that way, you'll get a little pop-up. It's amazing. The Cold album, the chest and head, these journeys have been combined into a single album. The Discover page is going to let you know on all those individual journeys, whether it's a begin journey button or it's an open album button, meaning I can open that album and there's more, it's like a treasure chest. There's more discoveries inside. The other thing that we have, the big one, is this new Wellness 2020 album, which replaces our 6-week protocol for Virus 2020. And at this time, I want to let Lori talk a little bit about this because Lori's on a support call right now, or she would speak. Laura, I'll let Lori unmute herself a little bit. But Jackie, do you have a little bit on the Wellness 2020? Because I do think we wrote almost like a little bit of instruction manual.
Yeah,
on what we're going to do with this album, because it is very specific to what's going on in the world right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So Wellness 2020 replaces, as Freddie was saying, the Virus 2020. And what it does is it pulls together a lot of what we suggested originally in the protocol. So it's now been worked in together. So you have an option to do the first half or the second half, depending on how you respond. If you'd like to go a little bit slower, you could do part 1, and then another day you could do part 2. If you're feeling that you're able to move through it more quickly, you can do the full journey. And each one of those now includes what we had kind of asked you to do manually previously, as well as some new information that's come in, that's been programmed in. It also has a respiratory support feature. So if you're dealing with some kind of respiratory issue, it allows you to, along with doing Wellness Journey, 2021 and 2, both parts, to add in that respiratory support all in that same album. And so it's a wonderful, wonderful tool to have. One of the things we've really been all becoming so aware of is how grateful we are to have support like this to be able to use in the safety and comfort of home during this time. And, we know that we're dealing with the energetic body. So the more we're able to keep the body in balance and support all of the pieces that allow us to stay in that place of wellness, we do a lot better as we move through the experience. So, that's sort of the overview of it. I've been using it and absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Now that everybody's all together on version 7, everyone has access to it, which is just wonderful.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome, Jackie. I was just going to go through here. So Wellness 2020, it's broken up into 2 parts. Part 1 is 30 minutes. Part 2 is 40 minutes. So basically, given the unfortunate persistence of this pandemic, which it's persistent, we believe that the timing is ideal to provide this kind of toolkit, this album, just right on your Discover page, as opposed to have to look at that, what's my 6 weeks, and everything, like Jackie said, has been combined. So what we're looking at is really, since everybody has a different tolerance level when you're coiling, the 60-minute journey has been partitioned, and that's why it's part 1 and part 2. And then, of course, we have the respiratory support. We already had a question come in the chat about, what about people who have been diagnosed with COVID and are, quote unquote, these long haulers are taking a long time to recover. That's where you want to incorporate some of that respiratory support. And then, of course, if your tolerance, if you feel good, if you feel like a 60-minute journey, you can go ahead and play the full Wellness 2020, which is a full 60 minutes.
Freddie?
And that's, we have that broken down for you in the monthly newsletter. I'm going to turn it over to Lori.
Yay, I'm back. Sorry.
That's okay.
I had to
Duty
step
calls.
off and get some information from Geneva. And so I just wanted to, let me go back to my update. And I don't know what you guys covered, on the Wellness 2020?
We
It sounds like you
pretty
got pretty
much
far
covered
into
it. Yeah, and
Okay.
in detail, similar to what was released in the monthly newsletter, the partitions of the journey.
Perfect.
But I think maybe if you could give us a little more, I know it's about tapping in with your body, about where and why and when to play these, depending on what you're going through, would be helpful. Lori.
Right. Cool. So there's a couple things too, and I can't remember who said they played Wellness 2020 and they felt great. Even if you don't have symptoms, there's so much good stuff in that. It's got the resonant frequencies associated with corona and with SARS, but it also has superbugs and cell wall deficiency, autoimmune viruses, toxins, emotions, immune boost, earth grounding, nutrition, sweep, mucus dissolver, lung and bronchial and sinus support. So think about, if you just did that stuff alone. So this is like a super journey, and so it boosts you up as well as, working with current frequencies. So I think you probably went over to how to transition to it. I would say.
Can you do that, Lori? Actually, can you go from the transition? That'd be helpful.
Yeah.
To use, people are
So
asking.
what's that?
How often to
I
use?
got that.
Yeah.
So, like any journey that we have, you don't want to overdo it. And that's one of the reasons why we took our time in releasing this, because, people are looking to do the virus 2020 was different because that took, we didn't have a complete journey set up. We just took everything that we already had existing and put it into something that was 6 weeks. So every time you ran something, you had to run a primer, and you ran some things that weren't quite as relevant, but were also very good for the body. But so when you cut out all the primers, which are 9 minutes, and you cut out, some of the things that aren't as necessary with, what we're dealing with, we were able to get it all into one journey, which is fabulous. So if you've already completed the virus 2020, make sure you take at least a couple weeks off. Again, your body needs time, and I say this all the time, and everybody, laughs at me, but it's serious. You need to let the jello set. If the jello doesn't set, you're going to keep putting, it's like being on a heart-lung machine. You'll never get better unless you get off of it. And so this is kind of the same thing. Your body's got to take over and work towards healing. So if you've already been on the virus 2020 and you finished it, take a couple weeks and then go in, and it's a concise journey, and it's as a full journey, but we want you to ease into it. So you play the wellness part 1, and then you wait a little bit, 24, 48 hours, because, with all the good things that I said are in it, there may be some reaction to it. You may have some of the other things going on in your body that your body's reacting to. So give your body time to see how it deals with it. After 24, 48 hours, then you run part 2. After you run both of them, you'll know whether or not you should continue on running part 1 and then waiting a couple days of part 2, or if you can go in and run the full journey. I would do the full for, if you haven't been diagnosed and you're just using it for wellness, I would run it once a week. So either you're going to play wellness 1, part 1, wait 24, 48 hours, play wellness part 2, wait 24, 48 hours, or if you choose to run the full program after you've run the 1 and 2. So always run the 1 and 2, see how your body does, and then make a decision whether or not you do the full. Also, if you don't have a lot of time, then you run the 1 and then you run the 2. And then again, I thought I caught a little bit about the respiratory. Respiratory is great. It's really going to help you any respiratory symptoms that come up with the virus. If you have active or potential exposure, well, then you need to play it a little more. So play 1, follow the next day by part 2, take a day break, play 1, follow the next day by part 2. And, we don't state to play the whole full journey, because if you do have COVID, then your body's going to be a little weak. And so you would want to split it up a little bit. It's not recommended to run immune boost during this because there's a lot of immune boost in this. So I think that, if you want to incorporate it in your everyday coiling, run it once a week and you can cleanse on the other end of it. I wouldn't do a cleanse 3 times a week. I would maybe do 1 or 2 times a week. This is a great time to use this, and it's a great kind of a blanket program, almost like the cleanse 2, where you're working on, all of the things that keep you from getting better. Running the Wellness 2020 is going to work with the virus and all the things that are out there anyway, whether it's flu, whether it's just, things that you haven't hit in your coiling. And, that's why people are feeling so good it's very rejuvenating in most cases. So everybody can play it. We recommend that every household member play it, at the same time. And, if you think you've been exposed, play it for a couple days and then play it again for a couple days. So it's kind of up to you, but we've taken everything in that 6-week and put it into one wellness journey. So we're really excited about that.
Which is wonderful.
Awesome.
Any questions on that?
Lori, that's so helpful. There is a question in the chat. I know you're on the phone. So how do you do this if you're in the midst of a cleanse? And what I heard you say, and maybe, everybody heard this as well. If you're doing a cleanse, maybe you would do the cleanse sessions twice a week and do Wellness 2020 for that 3rd session rather than cleanse every time. So it takes you a little bit longer to get the cleanse, but you're folding in. Would that be a fair?
Well, ideally, I would like to, that's a lot of, you're asking your body to do a lot with the Wellness 2020, and you're asking your body to do a lot with the cleanse, but you don't really want to stop, for a week or 2 in the middle of a cleanse. So, maybe do it once, maybe do it twice, play with your body and see how it feels. You don't want to overcoil. And so you kind of have to just check in, and everybody's going to be a little different with this. If you started on, and you've only done 1 of your formulas, then I'd stop it and revisit it after you've done the wellness. If you're in the middle of it, I would probably finish it up and balance the 2.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful.
That's great info, Lori. I appreciate you being so detailed with that. I know people appreciate it. And if you still have questions, just a reminder, everybody, you can message support on the side navigation bar of your tablet, or you can go right through the Owner's Help Center. And just same thing as we went into the Academy. You would log in with your email, your default password, and you would submit a request in the upper right-hand corner. So either way, you could get right in with them. For additional questions, team, it's 8:31. We did good, right down to the wire. We started a little bit late. We had a lot of great shares. Does anybody? I hope that was your question, Stephanie. I see your hand raised there. Unless you want to, Stephanie, do you want to unmute? Do you have additional?
Hello. I added the video.
Yes. Hi, Stephanie.
Really quick. I just wanted to send a huge thank you to Lori and you, Freddie, for passing me along, because I had COVID-like symptoms, and I am now learning that some of the tests are kind of false negatives. And I went to work with what you put me on. I felt fantastic after 1 week. It was incredible. It was transformational. I felt so much support that I wasn't getting in a kind of traditional sense. It took me a while to get in for the swabs and so forth. And all that time, I knew I was doing the absolute best for my body to realign. And what I was saying about the long haulers is this is a fantastic opportunity. We know in the case of Lyme, which I did suffer from, 30% of people are picked up from Lyme. And I'm thinking that might be a similar thing with what's going on in the long view of COVID-19, that people are going to have multi-symptoms, multi-terrain kind of experiences. And I think from the perspective of, realigning the AmpCoil in terms of what we tell people about a modality, this is going to be a really important plateau for us. So I just really wanted to kind of bring that to the fore because I think it's such an incredible tool. And I know that it's going to have this longevity because of the longevity of this particular pandemic. So it is just something I really wanted to touch all those points for everybody, that it does work. We're a fantastic community, and we can make this available and possible for people to know that they are not feeling isolated and alone in these kind of things, in the believability kind of concepts we've all suffered, to then incorporate that into the next of our story.
It's beautiful. Thank you, Stephanie.
Welcome.
I know you get one of these
Good
too.
night, everybody.
So we'll close it down. I just want to, let's just do one breath together. Let's do right hand on heart. Let's do left hand on heart. Everybody can just gently close your eyes. 40, we gained a person, 42, 43 people on the call. Thank you everybody for staying right to the very end with us. Breathe into your heart. Let it go. Breathe into your heart. Let it go. Breathe in your heart. Let it go. Go ahead and extend your field and fall into the other 42 members on this call that you know are supporting you, whether they're physically with you. We're going to move away and remove time and space. And we can all just imagine each other in a big lodge in Lake Tahoe. Everybody's holding hands. Yeah, you can smile about that. Go ahead and go there. And because we're all believers that frequency and sound can touch us on a level that is so deeply profound, we'll just all do a little Om together. Everybody pick a note. Om. I honor you guys for being with us tonight. I'm going to unmute everybody. Unmute all. Unmute. Unmute.
Ready, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Beautiful.
Thank you, thank you,
Thank
thank you.
you. Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Barb. Thank you, Martha. Thank you, Stephanie. Bye, team.